Hello folks, welcome back to Sound Design for Relaxation, Meditation, and Sleep. This is a companion series for my sound experiments for relaxation, meditation, and sleep. I'm your host, Dr. Lawrence W. Moore of the Wayfarer Project. In this episode, I am following up on a viewer/listener request. Amelia Bodilia would like for some peaceful rainy day sounds. I don't know if she said it exactly that way, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't want a chaotic thunderstorm. So I'm going to be showing you how to make a peaceful, steady, hypnotic rain sound in VCV Rack. And before I get to that portion, I'm going to show you basically what I made in this follow-up, and then we'll basically do it together so you can see whether different variables are and how you can kind of like tailor it and customize it for your own needs. This is basically raindrops, both the ambient distant sound and a little bit close up mixed together. No thunder in this because this is for relaxation, meditation, and sleep. Yeah, sometimes those distant rumbles are okay, but I'm always a little bit worried when I hear them that the power is going to go out. So anyway, basically let me show you what we will be aiming for. All right, so here we are in VCV Rack. I'm going to build this with you so you can see the different steps in making this. And actually, I am going to implement a little bit of a change that I think will improve it. So hopefully we will have an even better version. I'm just slowly fading it in. And there are little fader movements along the way that one can do to do some variations and ways, of course, to control them. All the modules I'm using are free modules for VCV Rack. So basically, you can put this together yourself without any trouble and without having to pay for anything. So that's good. All right. So without any further ado, let's get to the making portion of the video. And away we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is basically open up a bit of a template patch here. So just forgive me the extra browsing around here, but I have some mixer setups that I will be using. There we go. Now I'm going to talk about each of the modules here to start, so you know what we're starting with. Okay, so we have the MindMeld mixer 8-channel version and the aux expander for it that can do aux sends for the 8 channels as well as groups 1 and 2. Each channel has its own individual sends for the 4 different aux sends, A, B, C, and E. And on this side, I have the inserts, basically insert going to the Skuinky Labs compressor. It's an 8-channel compressor. So this one will be carrying all 8 of our channels here. Yes, the 8-channel compressor from Skuinky Labs can adapt to being mono or stereo on each channel. So it works perfectly with this mixer. And the second one here is in case, well, I'm not really going to do that, but I have it here in my template anyway. The second one is actually receiving the group and aux channels here. And then both of these send to the MindMeld's parametric equalizer. That can work with the 8-channel mixer as well as the 16-channel mixer. Here I'm just basically putting in the 8 channels and then the groups and auxes and then returning them to the mixer. So basically I can put these compression and parametric EQ 4-band on any of the 8 channels as well as the groups and auxes as needed. Basically I use that for any of the filtering that is going to stay static. There is an expander that allows you to change parameters on the fly with this and send control signals to it, CB. But I don't really use it that way. I use it for set it and forget it, like changes that I want to do in anything that I'm controlling. I usually use modular filters and stuff like that. It's just the way I like to do it. I just want to check something here. Yeah, good. I have a bunch of shortcuts and stuff, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't turn off the sound. Okay, so anyway, because I thought I might have bumped it. All right, so here we go. We're going to start building. We're going to start, and this is going to be the source for just about everything in this. It's going to be noise. Type in noise and go with the VCV noise generator. We have all sorts of flavors of noise here. Okay, the first part is I'm going to do kind of like the distant, consistent, steady rain sound. And I'll be using white noise for that, but I want to put some variation on it. And to do that, I'm going to use a chaos generator here. It is actually RPJ chaos generator. There's different brands of chaos generators out there. This is the one I've been using. It's called Genie. It also has a visualizer for it if you want to use that, but I'm going to be using it without it. What this will allow me to do is create some varying changes, varying control signals that will help things to sound a little bit better. And then I'm going to use a filter, VCF, and I'm going to go with the SurgeXT filter. All these modules are free modules because this has a wide variety of different filter shapes in it. And there's a number that I like for what I'm doing. So I'm going to take the white noise, put it in the filter here, left input because it's mono, and then left output. And we'll put it in, oh, hold on. Just so we don't blast anybody, I'm going to turn the master fader down. And then hook it up. So now we're getting white noise, but it's filtered. You see the shape right here? Funny how it looks a lot like that. And so I'm going to raise this a bit. Nice wintry wind sound. A little variation on that. Next, Amelia will be asking for some wind. All right, so I am going to go to... We're doing rain, though. This is what I have settled on for the sound that I'm producing. It's not there yet. There's plenty of transformations to go. All right, so this is a notch filter. but it's a negative 12 dB notch filter according to its preset setting. That can be adjustable. The width here, the frequency of the filter, the width, and the amount can be varied. And we will be doing that. So I'm going to use a yellow cable here to come out of the X output of this chaos generator. There's X, Y, and Z outputs. And up here we have settings for rate, mass, and length. Maybe I should bring out the, no. Basically what you gotta imagine is almost like a cloud of things happening. And the X, Y, and Z are coordinates of that cloud of things happening. And it's kind of happening semi-randomly. And the rate of change is one setting here. We're going to turn that all the way down. And another setting is length here, which definitely affects our XY coordinates. So I'm going to turn that down. I'm going to leave mass where it is for now. And what I'm going to do is take the output from X here and hook it up to a mod input here. Now on the SurgeXT modules, they have a cool way of handling modifiers. You see it's mod 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not labeled as doing any specific one of these parameter changes, but you assign them. I'm going to first of all find the frequency range I like. And beforehand I settled on somewhere around here. So I'd like this to move around here. So I'm going to set it somewhere in the middle of the area I want it to move around. Then I'm going to hit the mod button, mod 1. And now you're no longer changing frequency of your cutoff. You just right click on it and go clockwise to expand a range of movement, and counterclockwise to, you left click, drag, counterclockwise to expand the range, and clockwise to expand the range, counterclockwise to reduce the range. And as you see, I've set a range, and now this is oscillating around that range according to the rate here. And then there's length here. Let me see. There. See, this length is affecting the area that it oscillates around, as well as this. This is kind of like a limit as to how far it can go, this range here. Now I'm going to take the Y output here, and I'm going to hook that up to modifier 2. Make sure modifier 1 is off. So now I could set the center frequency range again. But when you turn on a modifier, then you touch the knob that it's going to modify, and you set its range. So I'm going to allow the resonance to change. Now, actually, let me find its midpoint first before I do that. I think somewhere there. So I'm going to hit mod and just give this a range. It's not moving very much now, is it? Also, I'm using a green cable instead of yellow like I want to. But that wasn't the problem. I need to adjust some settings here. Let's try length. Okay, I see it widening and narrowing a little bit there. But yeah, the amount of change is a bit much. So let me turn this down. This will affect both X and Y. I already have the rate down all the way. I'm going to narrow this a little bit. Okay, now let's say we're pretty good with that. I'm going to shift left click on this, hit Control C to copy it, paste it right here. We're going to set up the same XY controls on this one. Since I selected and copied the one that already had these settings, I can just hook up the cables for mod 1 and mod 2, and we're pretty good. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is slightly shift the frequency a little bit and the resonance a little bit so it's not exactly the same. And then I am going to take its output and hook it up here. Guess I also need to put some input into it, which would be the white noise here. Now, these are both panned center right now, so they're just sounding a little bit louder. Let me turn this down. I am going to do some panning of them, but rather than pan them just hard left, hard right, where they would sound a little bit more static, I'm going to use an attenuator here, the Befaco attenuator that I use for wave sounds, to control the amount of pan. So I'm going to take an X out in here and a Y out and put it in here. This will be the panning for the left side and the panning for the right side. This may be hooked up to left in and left out, but that's because I'm using it mono. Go into a mono channel here. But so for the left side, let's hook this up to pan. Let's turn down the fader for the right. So then we're just hearing our left side here, which is this. Now we're going to control its panning. I'm going to turn you all the way down and turn you to about 10 o'clock. Now let's look at our range here. The pan knob's dial won't move, but this yellow indicates how much it's moving. That rate is pretty fast. I was able to kind of, maybe it's my length. There. I just need a little bit of movement. Bring you back up. And you're going to be the right side. And I'm going to do a similar thing with you. Turn you all the way right, and then you to 2 o'clock. So these two sides, all right, the right side is going way further. Than the left. That's right. I think I know what I did. There we go. No, that's pretty much holding it there. Try that. Trying to pretty much match that side. Now this is also receiving Y coordinates, which are different. Y coordinates of the chaos. And they are not moving so much. I think we need to turn up the length. Well, I had this fine when I did it myself before making the video. Instead of having to look down here each time, let me just hear it. I think my settings before were something like this. Now let me try this. Let me go for X settings. Yeah, that's better. All right, and now what I'm going to do is unmute you. Yeah, they're modulating to similar areas. It's best to be hearing this on headphones or on speakers that are spaced apart to hear the stereo perspective. Okay, now I'm going to use some reverb. For this effect, I'm going to basically use aux A, which is going to this SurgeXT Reverb 2, and the preset is, now that's echo. Okay, and I didn't before this have to really adjust any of the parameters there. I liked it to start. So I'm going to turn you up for channel 1 and channel 2. And I'm going to lower you down a little bit here. I'm pretty low on the master. I want to keep it low for my voice here in the recording. So now, since we're going pre-fader, the amount of fader is the amount of dry, and here's the amount of wet being sent, and then returning here. So that sounds like a distant rain with a lot of what do you call it? A little, not a lot of, but you know, just enough variation of movement, both spectrally as well as spatially. So here I'm on channel 1. I want to try seeing what happens if I cut out. I think what I did when experimenting before is I cut out, or basically did a high pass set to 142. Let's go to channel 2 and do the same. Okay, that's pretty cool for the ambient distant rain. Now we need droplets. And to do that, I'm going to get another chaos generator here. And I'm going to use 2 more of these filters. It'll be a different filter setting though, but we'll use 2 more of the SurgeXTs. Excuse me, you go there, you go there. Alrighty, I will eventually need another one of these attenuators. And I'll copy a second right channel version of this after I do its settings. Now I'm going to do 2 different types of droplets. One type of droplet is going to be pink noise. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let's get rid of this first of all. Let's mute you. And mute you. All right, there we go. So now we could hear us on our own. I'm going to go with pink noise. For basically, I want the sound, where is it? Pink, there, of like droplets hitting leaves, like a forest floor type of thing. So, no, you go in here first. Now, we're just going to hear the sound as is pink noise. A nice mid-rangey sound. But we're going to have it enveloped with red noise. Like if you listen and look at red noise here, there's a lot of rumble in it. I want to use this as an envelope, this gyration here, as a way to control the pink noise. There we go. So what we get is a very staticky kind of choppy sound. Now we can color this a bit. And what I found to be nice, it helps if you actually go through the filter. We'll go through left, out left into channel 3. Somewhere around there, but I think I used a different band before. There. Yeah, a little bit broader, not as focused, not as pitchy. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use chaos here to vary things a bit. We're going to start with X to vary our frequency. So let's find a center point somewhere right about I want it to vary between that, a very narrow area. Maybe put it right on the line there and put the width very narrow. There. Sounds like it's dropping on leaves. Maybe a little more narrow. And then I'm going to try this. I didn't do this beforehand, but let's try the Y, which is a little bit narrower of a range, for varying the resonance. So it's not going to do much, but you hear a little bit more variation in the sound. Now let's copy this. Copy there. And we'll basically hook you up the same, except I'll change the center a little bit. You know, the frequency and resonance a little bit. They're center points. I'll vary them a little, so it's not exactly the same on the left and right sides. Now you are going to receive from the same place. Go into channel 4. Okay, now once again they're both panned center, and that's not the way it's going to be. So this top one here is going to be for the pan of channel 3. The bottom will be for the pan of channel 4. Just to have a little bit of movement spatially. And I think I'll do the same thing again where I'll use X coordinates for both of those. Enough movement happens. I haven't even set any of the dials up here. It's sounding pretty good as is. Now you are going to be set pretty much the same as those other dials. Over here. Yeah, 10 o'clock. And all the way down there. Ten o'clock, right there. And then on this guy, all the way down and 2 o'clock, or between 2 and 3. Alrighty. Whoa, look at them. They're jumping around a lot more, but these are droplets. Now, I'm going to put you through a second effect. This is going to be through another instance of reverb too, but it's set to Amazing Big Haul. Let's turn up the sends for 3 and 4 on aux MB. Now you hear it puts a little haze behind it. Actually, I'm going to leave it 12 o'clock for now, because I know I'm probably going to be lowering the level here on the faders, since the send is going pre-fader. Let's nestle it into the rain. Now let's look at them here. Channels 3 and 4. I am once again going to make sure. I think, yeah. I'm going to use the same cutoff up to 142. There's not a lot in the way of frequencies below that in this sound, but they are there. And beforehand I did some experimentation and found out right at 500 hertz we could do like a high shelf just to brighten it up a bit. Now I need to do that to channel 4 as well, since they are essentially the same sound. I can hear the movement there in my head. It's pretty good. And then you're already on 500. Funny how that just worked off the bat. Now, I'm going to put you full flavor and unmute you. There we go. I think beforehand I had these set to 6, these set to 12. But they are getting really beat up by this stuff. Right about there. Now these guys are a little mid-rangey for me. I want to do some brighter droplets as well. And so we're going to set up some of the more of the same stuff. Going to have a Chaos Genie. On this side, yeah, let's put the VCA before the chaos. A little better organization, I think. We're also going to use a VCA on this side. Now here, this stuff, let's mute these effects and the dries. Since it's post fader, the effects come after, well, the sends go out before the fader and the mute and solo buttons. So anyway, let's take our audio input here. We're going to do a similar thing, except in this case, we're going to use blue noise as the sound source. And we're going to hear it now. And now we're going to vibrate it with violet noise, which we're going to look at here. There's the blue noise. See a complete bias to the brighter end of the spectrum. And then we're going to modulate it with violet. See how it's kind of crackly and stuff? It's got this crackly bumps up in this part of the spectrum, which in the amplitude terms is still going to come through, but it's going to be more delicate than the red noise. So let's do this. Aha. Yes, indeed. And we are going to filter it, of course. So, put the filter in between. And we are going to take you. There we go. But we're going to put you up here. This is going to be the bright aspect of the droplets. Now I want it to go between around here to there. Let's try X as is. It worked out for the other droplets. And we can use this to modulate the resonance a little bit. Now that sounds pretty good. Let's copy you. And hook up the same stuff. So I'm just going to nudge the frequency and resonance slightly. So it's not exactly the same. Got to take the noise in from here and take it out and put it into channel 6. Once again, they're all pan center right now, but that's about to be changed. Just type ATTEN to search for this guy. Befaco. And once again, X coordinates are going to modulate these. And we're going to hook them up to channels 5 and 6 here under pan. Now, it sounds jumpy right now, but that's going to get hidden, especially since we're going to have it with those droplets. I still might calm that down a little bit, but I'm also going to send it to the reverb, so I want to hear it through that first. Send B, just like the other droplets. And we got to unmute it over here. Maybe this could be sent a little bit more. Try all the way. And now I hear a little brightness in the reverb. Now let's see how it works with the rest of the rain. I'd like them to be a little less jumpy. So I'm going to turn the rate down. They are just a delicate part of this. Yeah, something like 3 o'clock there. Length can stay up, just like over here, but the rate, I think, for the other droplets, I am going to reduce as well. I'm going to reduce even more here, because I know our master fader is really low. I'm hearing the left-right movement pretty prominently here. It's pretty good, but a little fast still, so I'm going to lower you. In rate. These guys are a little too loud. Now let's see if we can boost the master a little bit. Whoops. Now these guys are kind of getting lost, and what I had to do before is go to the compressor, and this is the only thing I'm using the compressor for. I'm not even going to compress it really. I'm just going to boost its gain. There, the brightness of the droplets hitting the ground. Yeah, some of the panning is a little bit jerky. Maybe I shouldn't have it go all the way with this. I think the length needs to reduce. Maybe it's just standing out a little bit too much. So let's turn these guys up. Now, as the rain progresses, you can use CV messages to slightly move these levels with like a really slow LFO. Or change them manually as I'm doing some other work with, Tibetan singing bowl harmonics and some of my other things. If you haven't checked out previous episodes, please check them out. Some of the other techniques I use for these sound experiments in relaxation, meditation, and yeah. But right now, that's sounding pretty good. Maybe these are a little bit high, because they're in that frequency range that is going to really come through to our ears pretty strong. There we go, folks. I could listen to that and trip out. So there you go, Amelia. So, folks, you're invited to respond in the comment section and let me know what you think of this. What are some variations you might do and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to add these moving high-pitched droplets to my wave sounds as well to enhance them. I'm going to keep going forward making stuff, and I need your feedback on, what's effective, what works for you. how much you enjoy it and all that, or just shout outs are always welcome. All the comments help these videos get seen on YouTube. So like, share, subscribe, and comment, please. Okay, well, until next time, take care, stay free, relax, meditate, and sleep. Take care.